Not far from Ecuador's largest city of Guayaquil is a beach town known as Playas Villamil. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's actually my second time recording this trying to pronounce the second part of the name of the town. But most people here, fortunately, just call this place Playas. And Playas is it's a town. It was the first beach town I visited 6 years ago in Ecuador. And back then, I liked it okay. It was all right. It's changed a lot in the last 6 years, and in my opinion, not entirely for the better. I know this might not be the most popular video. I think some of the locals are gonna be a little irritated about my opinions about the town, but they've got some work here to do to be the sort of town where at least international tourists, rather than people just coming for the day or weekend from Guayaquil, would want to visit. Place has a lot of things going for it. It's got one of the driest, sunniest climates on the coast of Ecuador, and about 30 minutes north there's a cool little surf spot, and it's got a safe beach as far as ocean currents and waves go. It's not like the strong ocean currents at Montanita that make it unsafe for small kids. So it could be a good family beach, but there's a lot of trash. Now I know, it's a problem all over the world of this ocean garbage washing up. A lot of the trash is coming from the town, and not enough garbage cans, or not enough of just a culture to put your garbage in the trash can. And a lot of the trash is coming down the River Guayas, through, from Guayaquil and other towns upriver when it rains heavily. Some of it's coming from China, so it's not all the problem that the town created. But if you're going to have a town whose economy is based on tourism and on the beach, you don't want it to be covered in trash. So Playas has some work to do on that front. Also, the town is a little chaotic, a little hectic. Now that's a lot of larger beach towns in Ecuador, but it was pretty extreme here, even on like Monday and Tuesday night in the center of town. The noise level, and it's a bit much. It's not a peaceful little beach town, and the prices are a little high from my experience for beach towns in Ecuador, and that's because they get a steady stream of weekend tourists from Guayaquil, so they don't really negotiate on price very much, and the prices are higher than further up the coast. And the attitudes of the locals can be a little abrasive. That may be just from the relentless crush of tourism that this town is getting from Guayaquil. Also, some of the hotels are pretty sketchy. Now, we found a really nice hotel. I'll tell you about it in a minute. It's the place I recommend you stay if you're going to stay in Playas. And if you're in Guayaquil, this is probably some place that you're going to visit. But first couple hotels, my wife went in and asked, and they were by the hour hotels. Families were not their clientele. Third one, and there were cockroaches everywhere. Fourth one was a nice place if you wanted a hotel that had a loud discotheque. It was actually a pretty nice hotel, but the price was a bit high. And then we found the hotel, I'm looking at it right now, Novia del Pacifico, which translates to Girlfriend of the Pacific. We skipped past it at first because I thought it was going to be another by-the-hour hotel, but it actually is a really nice place, probably the best you're going to get in this town. I think for our family of 2 adults, 2 kids, we're paying $40 a night, and it's got a nice clean pool inside that's in the shade most of the day, which is kind of important here. And the rooms are clean, and it's got AC, so that would be the place I'd recommend, Novia del Pacifico. But yeah, you got to hunt around, for a hotel that's not sketchy. Also, the food options. There's some pretty funky restaurants here. So, sorry to all of you that love Playas out there. Not my favorite beach town. I actually would much prefer be further up the coast. Like Salinas, Montanita, if you want a party town, Olan, Canoa. One of the other things that Playas does have going for it is about 30 minutes north of here is a tiny little village called Porta Engabao, and Porta Engabao does have a good surf break. So there is some surfing in the area. It's not here at Playas, but nearby there is a pretty awesome surf spot and a very traditional coastal Ecuadorian town.
So I know this video is going to piss some people off and that I'm going to get some negative feedback. And maybe I'm not being fair to the town, but this is how it felt at this time when we visited. I know all this garbage on the beach you're not responsible for. You didn't create it all. Some of it came from the town, some of it came from China, some of it came floating down the river when we had heavy rains. But as a tourist town, you got to suck it up and take responsibility for some problems you didn't create in order to have a viable tourist economy. Just for comparison's sake, this is a clean beach in Ecuador. This is Puerto Lopez. A few years ago, this was also a trashy beach, but this is a beach that's really got its act together, and now it's a great place to visit.